the Cowboys finally got done a game of football for the first time in a long time, and it's nice to see our Cowboys back on national television. However, while the quality of the game was not great, that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking to see how individual players did throughout this game and who needs to do better and who really might need to look out for their roster spot. So, before we go any further, if you guys can do me a solid favor and smash the like button, because it helps the YouTube algorithm figure out, hey, the video's here and stuff like that. So that would be greatly appreciated. On top of that, if you could, subscribe if you're new so you can receive more Dallas Cowboys content from yours truly. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on said content when it drops. Now, with the Hall of Fame game came some interesting surprises. To start things off, Jimmy Johnson is going into the Cowboys Ring of Honor, which I thought would never happen, or at the minimum would take a lot longer. But it happened. Jimmy Johnson will be in the Ring of Honor at some point. Now, for those that are superstitious and think that this is going to break a curse that they think is on the team, I don't know. I doubt it, because I'm not that type of superstitious person. But it's something of note. Now, the next thing that I wanted to bring to mind was the actual game. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up my notes. So to start things off, the Cowboys started the ball on defense, and they looked a lot faster. Micah Parsons was all over the place. And the thing that really spoke out to me was the fact that he was able to just do all that. And this isn't a surprise to me because I've seen him play, but really showing how he's able to clean up some of the messes that the front line might have. He got a turnover, which was great, but it wasn't a forced turnover. It was just being opportunistic with what happened with the Steelers being sloppy, which they really were. And you got to capitalize on that, so the Cowboys did there. Now, with that being said, on that first drive, I should mention, Anthony Brown really didn't look that impressive. Okay, Chase Claypool had a really nice maneuver on him to get open, but, we'll see, how that goes and see how Anthony Brown continues to play, but he looked meh. Then the offense started off really good. Rico Dowdle looked very fast, and just overall, he definitely looked like he could definitely be that running back 3 if the Cowboys decide to go that route. So that's impressive. Then the Cowboys offense came to a sputter once they reached the red zone, and this was a result of Ty Nishke. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I feel bad if I mispronounce it, which I probably did. He messed up the drive because he allowed a sack, and then he forced Gilbert to scramble and just force a pass in the end zone. So that killed the drive, and that led to a field goal. Then you go to the next drive with the Cowboys defense, and the defensive line worries me a bit still, but then again, I feel like because of these young players, we're still in wait-and-see mode, right? And the biggest thing for me is that what differentiates what last year was looking like in this year is that you see the actual 3-4 look where you're seeing the edges stand up. And then on top of that, you're seeing Micah Parsons make up for the errors of the defensive line, which he's not going to be able to do on all of them, but it's something to note. Another thing was that basically the drive ended because Chase Claypool dropped the ball. And whether or not that was responsible for Darian Thompson making him do that or not, that remains to be the point. The point being is he dropped an open ball. And, again, the Cowboys defense doing their part, but really, again, getting bailed out by that Steelers offense. So then we go to the next offensive drive. Now, Cedric Wilson, I think, is a lock for wide receiver 4. He definitely looks solid, making some crucial plays to keep the drive going. Now, Sean McCain, I don't know if they're pronouncing his name right. I don't know if I did. So, again, my bad. He looks like he could be tight end 3. And there were moments in this game where he showed up and, he looked quick. He was making those clutch catches. Awesome. Sawo looked solid too, and I mean Garrett Gilbert really did well. Not perfect, but he did well to show that he's definitely your number 2 quarterback. And the same thing, the red zone offense failed to do its thing. That led to a missed field goal by the punter. Just so you know, the special teams wasn't great, but kicking wise, you have a punter trying to kick a ball. Come on. Then Cooper Rush came in. Now Cooper Rush looked very bland. Like he looked extremely like he could do his thing, but this is kind of what we expect. Arm doesn't look strong at all. And there was a drive. This is getting to Malik Turner now. He caught a huge 4th down conversion and then he dropped it. Now, aside from that, he had a really good game, having those good catches, and stuff like that. It's just that fumble kind of hurt him. And luckily, he was able to make that up a bit. But God forbid he didn't catch anything. He would have been like, maybe he's on the way. Now, Nahshon Wright had some moments in this game where he was making good tackles. But there were moments where, and more specifically, when Chase Claypool got the better of him, the one thing that Wright has to do better is he can't just throw his hands up in the air and do that type of stuff. I understand that sometimes that can generate a penalty or some other stuff, but he has to stop doing that. That's like a rookie thing that he really needs to, get out of his system. I think he will, but, there were moments where it's just like, okay, like, come on, dude. But at the same time, he really showed that he has length and speed, which, for how tall he is, he's kind of making himself look like a possible, hey, this guy can start if, he's, capable of, getting better at a couple of these other things. But overall, Nahshon Wright had a solid game. Then we look at Maurice Kennedy, who's been looking great. Given the circumstances that he has and what's been going on, they really did, he really did well. Okay, and that's something to keep of note because, if Anthony Brown continues to just be like, he could, Maurice Kennedy, Nahshon Wright, and these younger guys could push him off the roster. And, again, whether or not that happens remains to be seen. I doubt it, but that's a possibility. But then again, we'll see. And then I would mention, with Kelvin Joseph, he was out there. We didn't really see a whole lot from him. So that's pretty good. But then again, we don't know the exact extent. So there is that. And what I mean by that is I don't mean he got hurt. I mean that he was doing solid. It's just that we didn't see the ball thrown his way, so we don't know exactly what to expect. Now, Brandon Knight, good lord. I could see why the Cowboys are trying to move him into guard because he doesn't look impressive. And Terrence still needs to do better. So yeah, that's a problem. But my whole thing is that just it looks like that like the third string offensive line and some of these young guys need work. But yeah, Steele isn't it. I think that he can be decent at best, but still, Brandon Knight needs to do better. So you kind of got to hope that, if you're a guy like Josh Ball or some of these other guys, you're looking at this and being like, okay, I can make some moves and stuff like that. Now, the next thing that comes to mind is the interior defensive line as the game kind of went on was getting bullied, but Osa Ogadizua and Big Bo, Quentin Bahana, looked really good. And that is something we need to keep an eye out on. Other than that, some of the other guys that were being put in there didn't really do so well. And that resulted in a touchdown from the Steelers. Now, Israel, the number 38, I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. I promise you I'll get that squared away because I'm just recording this as the game ended. My whole thing is that he definitely shows promise that we've kind of been hearing about in training camp. Being able to, make a play Like, we haven't seen that from our safeties in a long time. So I'm really excited to see him out there. And he had himself a pretty decent game. Now, Ben DiNucci, he played terrible. He did not play. He had a couple decent throws, but he didn't impress. Like, if it were up to me, I think Ben DiNucci could be lucky to make the practice squad if he continues to play like this. He did not play well at all. He threw an interception, and it was a pretty terrible interception at that. So if I'm Ben DiNucci, you know, you gotta step it up these next 3 games, dude. If not, you're gone. I understand that Mike McCarthy has some repertoire with you, but yeah. But I don't know if the Cowboys will hold on to 3 quarterbacks. I doubt that, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited that now we were actually able to talk about a game of football being played and who needs to do better and who did what, because now we can go into the next game and say this is what they need to improve on. So 1 preseason game done, 3 more to go before the regular season starts. I'm super excited, and thank you so much for reaching the end of this video. If you have not done so already, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.